everyone. I am Raymond Sharp. This is my lovely wife,
Tanesha Sharp.
and we're here to jump in. So today's topic is going to be something I think that we all can relate to, and just want to dig into it a little bit more because you see a lot of things on social media, and I question a lot of what I see on social media because I wonder what perspective is coming from, and it's expectation and relationships. Every day I see a new meme, a new video, or saying somebody has to bring this to the table, somebody has to do this, somebody has to do that, and I'm really starting to take account of some of these things that people are expecting. And what I'm finding is that a lot of these expectations are simply based in the other person's deficiencies. And I think that if we deal with our deficiencies, we can focus more on the person and the being of the person that we're seeking to be in a relationship with versus what they can bring to the table. Because what someone can bring to the table can always change. But who they are, the core values of who they are, how they treat you and how they respect you and how you can uplift them, those things, they may all, get improved over time, but ultimately that's who they are, not what they have. And I see a lot of times where people say, well, I have a degree, they need to have a degree too. And I don't always agree with that because you need to be educated, yes, but just because this man has a plumbing certification and you have a master's degree doesn't mean that you all can't be compatible in a relationship. So I want to talk about these expectations because I think they're rooted too deeply in just optics. I think more people are worried about how I look, and my expectation is I want to look good no matter what. And if you don't measure up with me on paper, we can't be together. And I think that we all are doing a disservice. I think that to one another. Also, some of us are lonely because we're looking for the wrong things. It's like you're looking in the wrong place, but what you need is in a completely different place. So to be just want to bring people change all the time.
Yeah.
And you have to understand sometimes trauma triggers responses.
Absolutely.
And I think that in understanding people, and this is where you have to have true dialogue instead of, where do you work, where, how many degrees you have. That speaks to their ability to learn, retain information, and then regurgitate it back out, which is good in some contexts. For some people, that doesn't even say job stability. Some people say that my person needs to be an entrepreneur and make this amount right here. And really you can be cutting yourself short because, 6 figures is not what 6 figures used to be. And to me, money is all about how you budget it, not what you make. So there's people that are making 6 figures that are struggling versus people that make under that who are better managers of the money that's living a better lifestyle than people making 6 figures. So you can scratch it off the equation completely. Yeah. So to me, I think it's all about understanding if you happen to know something about someone, get to know that person and understand why they went through. It may actually blow your socks off.
I think sometimes we look at like social media and we compare ourselves, or we see a couple say, I want a relationship I wanted something that looks like that. And to look like that, he has to be an entrepreneur, he has to be a doctor, to live that lifestyle. We, create this type of person that we think that will look good with us or give us what visually, as far as like what we've seen, what we've already compared up against. And 9 times like even with us, like we didn't know entrepreneurship. I didn't know entrepreneurship was something that was a thing that we were going to be even pursuing when we first met or we first dated. Even when we first got married, that wasn't like a goal of ours. I was going to be counseling and you were going to, work at the university and stuff like that. And so we were going to move up in those areas. So it was like, you're looking at us, you look at couples and think that, I want what they have, but they didn't even start out saying that this is what it's like they grew into it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to allow your relationship to grow into what it's supposed to grow into, not force or say it has to be this because this is what I saw, or this is what, I envision, because you've already have this picture in your mind of what it's supposed to look like for you. And if you just create something together, it can be something just awesome. Like, I love what we have.
Yes.
But this is nothing that we mapped out in the beginning. Like, this is, we're going to live this lifestyle and this is how things are going to be. It was something totally different, but we allowed life to just kind of, we just followed what, our heart and the things that we were, our dreams. And it just kind of, we grew together and we but had we started out looking at, well, this is how it has to be because this is what I saw. I think, and I don't know if anybody else is doing that. I know, we have a view, or I guess a vision. I know a lot of women do, of what they want to, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, and I want this and I want that, and I want to be able to go to the soccer games, just something that you've seen and you've already painted this picture in your head. But what if you just say, hey, I'm just going to pursue my dreams and my goals, and as, I meet someone, I fall in love, let's just create a wonderful world. I'm telling you, whatever, you'll be surprised that whatever his passion is and your passion is, you guys can make the money, and you don't necessarily have to have a certain type of degree or a certain type of, we're seeing that now, like you can be successful without
absolutely
doing what things people did in the past. And so I think it's just important just to not, look at or go into a relationship looking for it to be like something you saw or already bring your things that you're already comparing. And so, does that make sense?
It makes plenty of sense. And I'm gonna say this, one thing we have to, especially in these times right now, we have to be careful with, let's say, for example, if you say, hey, or and it may not be you, it could be, and I've seen a lot with like younger kids, like, kids, that's in their like 20s and 30s, and even some people in their late 30s and going into their 40s, they have these lists of things that, as far as they have to do this, they have to do that. And we have to be careful with technology, to the point where a lot of these things that people are saying, I want my person to work in this type of field or this job. Okay, y'all, you got that. That's cool. And in a few years, that job's gonna be completely obsolete.
Or
completely obsolete. You gonna to the point where it's like going from making six figures down to, okay, AI has completely, that runs that
and
field.
And then what
now.
happens to the relationship? Now you don't want the person anymore. That's why it has to be built more
something more than just what they can bring to the table.
Because then it's like, okay, you just shattered my dream or my vision.
My dream life is over because you have to change your job, your profession.
Yeah, and it has to be more than that, because you can't throw away a whole relationship because this is a commitment.
Yes.
Like, especially, we're talking about people who want to be in long-term commitments, who really want their relationships to work. So if you're just playing around, most of our videos are not for you, for those who are not really trying to be serious, but those who are seeking serious relationships or, desire at some point to be in a serious relationship, these are some things you want to consider, because things change. Life happens. Passion. I mean, even the things that I was passionate about 10 years ago is different than now. Like,
absolutely.
if you're thinking about being with somebody long term, they're going to evolve and change and grow. And you got to want to be committed to that person as a person, not as who they are and what they do.
As a professional only.
Like, or, I'm going to only marry somebody that's in the NFL, or, what if they get injured? What if, hopefully nothing bad like that happens, but you just have to still, you got to be in love with the person and want the person, because when all that's stripped away and all that's gone, you will still have the person. So.
Yeah. And another thing too, you can bounce back from, we've been talking in terms of like things can change so fast, but you can also bounce back from anything. Yeah. So as long as you have the right person with you that's willing to work and be committed and strive for excellence, and you can always, I heard it plenty of times, and I've seen sometimes with millionaires that lose it, and it's not that they blow it, it's just things change in their market. They sell a certain product or service, and then it's not favorable anymore, so they lose their fortune, and it's like, okay, well, I know how to build systems, I know I just got to find a new product and just keep going, and they get it back. So
that's good.
It's always some bounce back. And so don't look at what people have, because again, people change, they grow, they evolve, and don't look down on what someone does. Just because it's not glamorous doesn't mean that they can't provide a sustainable and actually a great life. Because again, there's something that we've been discussing these last few weeks. It came up a few months ago, and I was like, man, that would be a great business. And then I kind of like just put it in the back of my mind. And these last few weeks, it came up again. I'm like, oh, we're going to look into this, because it's something that I even realized. And I'm telling you, it's nothing that when we first got together.
No, it's nothing that we thought about.
I wasn't thinking about that, but
but this is a good opportunity. Yeah, it's a really big opportunity that so you just I'm telling you, just find it. The biggest thing is like, we talked about in another video is, how a person perceives things. Because if a person's a good, can think their way out of it, always got to, can come up with a solution, always can figure things out and work through challenges. Like, that's what you need. Someone who's not going to fold or, someone who's going to be strong in times of trouble. Like when things are not going well, like somebody that can stand and hold you down. And, I mean, it's certain things that you need, that's going to make a relationship. Someone who's going to be truly committed. I mean, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what they have, they can reach success and then leave you because the commitment was never there.
Yeah. Or they can realize who
that's
you
all
were.
It was, yeah.
You're like, and that's sad to see as well. And it's not that they got successful. They just realized they no longer want to share their success with you. Especially, and I'm going to say this, I don't know why I feel like I need to say this, but even if someone goes through a period where things are down, don't bash them.
Oh, yes.
Don't beat them up because they can always bounce back.
Oh, yeah.
And those words will be unforgettable to them. And if they do achieve some level of success, some people's way of dealing with that is once I'm successful is getting you out of my life. And I'm not saying that's right, but that's how some people move. So be careful and be mindful. Just be patient as much as you can be patient, and then be patient some more.
Because on the other side of that, if you are patient and you edify and you encourage and you cheer them on and you push them and you're good for them, during that time, they're gonna remember that.
They always remember.
Oh my God, they're gonna. It's gonna be a whole nother level of appreciation. Because I know, you could have dogged me, you could have said all kind of stuff when I was down or when I was trying to figure myself out, when I was kind of confused, dealing with uncertainty, and just dealing with a lot of things in my own mind. The level of appreciation once you figure things out, and you get moving, you get your flow, and you're actually doing well. They were like, you know what? I appreciate you because you never gave up on me. You never doubted me. That means something.
It does.
That means something because you want to know no matter what, no matter how bad things get, you got my back and you're with me.
Yeah.
And that means something.
It does. And I'm gonna say this. I saw this something else I saw on social media. I thought it was cool. It was basically it said something to the effect of I think entrepreneurship sounds crazy until that person becomes a millionaire.
Or that idea.
Or the idea becomes it was that idea becomes a millionaire. So that causes them to become a millionaire. So just let's take a step back.
Yeah.
Let's reset our expectations. Let's set our expectations based upon what we need, not what we want people to think about us. And I think it'll take us much, much, much further in life.
And then also, real quick, before we end it, everyone's saying, I'm living my truth. Well, if you don't do things, if you're so focused on how things are going to look, your truth
is a lie.
is a lie, or your truth may not be what you envision it to be. And it's like, it's like, go ahead and live your truth. It's like, man, this is not what I wanted, but this is not my truth. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does.
You got to be careful with, it. Like this is your future. This is your time. You don't have, I don't think people think we have like all this time. I mean, we do have a lot of time, but like time is so precious. Like you don't get that back. You keep wasting your time on, relationships that don't matter or, man, I don't have time to waste. I don't want to waste any time, and so I just want to encourage those who are, working towards a serious relationship to don't waste time, and make sure your expectations are, I'm not going to even say just like realistic, but just make sure you have good expectations and, stay firm to what you believe and what are your standards. Have some type of standard. You know what I'm saying? Because certain standards, like I said with entrepreneurs, they can't date just anybody. They have to have a certain level of standard so they can be successful, because it's like, okay, I can't have nobody that's wild and out of control because I can't be worried about them and my business. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I have to have somebody that's stable. I mean, they may not be perfect, but at least they, stable. Because You know, we're laughing, but like, you know, you have to consider those things. Like those are expectations.
Yeah, there's some people who have lost, there's some people who have lost out on opportunities because of their spouses.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, we want to rock with you, man, but
your spouse, it's not a good look. It's not a good feel.
Yeah,
it's not gonna work.
We're afraid that she's gonna be a detriment to your business.
Yeah.
And that's
people don't want to partner with you. People don't want to deal with you.
That's hard. That's hard to hear, but that's
some
people's
just
reality.
One thing, you know. But just think about like, you know, where you're going in life and the expectation. Like what you know, what standards, what do you need to be successful? And you need somebody that's super supportive. You know, whatever it is that you're doing, you need somebody that's, you know, just change how you look at standards. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you all's time and watching this video.
Love you all.
Y'all take care. Until next time, we want you to what?
Jump in.
Y'all
Have
take
a wonderful
care.
evening. Bye.